What is something that you recommend with like coping strategies or how to deal with the stress that comes with all this pressure?
Yeah. Um, well, so speaking of generations, I have a Gen Z kid, and I have two, I guess one millennial and another one that's kind of in the middle. So I have three children and they've all just finished college. My youngest just finished college. And so I've spent a lot of time thinking not only about my own students, but about my kids and their path and the stresses that they faced. And in really seeing a whole wide variety of coping strategies that people take. So the first thing I just want to say is about coping. Um, there are some people who, especially in the world of behavioral medicine, when someone is a smoker or they drink, a lot on the weekends, or they watch a lot of TV or video games, we tend to be very judgmental about that and look down on people and call that they're not even coping at all. But really, we have to look at people doing the very best they can to get by, to get through. And to me, all of those bad habits are people making coping efforts. And I really don't think of anything as bad coping. It's all just coping. Some of it leads to healthier and more productive outcomes than others, but none, it's just like no one food necessarily is bad, except maybe jelly beans, something with a lot of sugar. Just kidding. But there's no coping strategy that's necessarily bad. And so one thing that I think one of the first steps is to look at all of the things you do and see them as coping. And that takes some of the shame out of it and some of the stigma. I still like to play video games sometimes when I've had a hard week and I'm feeling aggressive. There's nothing I like better than getting in my little spaceship on Destiny and going out and shooting a bunch of aliens. Feels good, but if I do that for 14 hours a day, then I'm probably not going to get my work done. But what to just be gentle with myself and kind to myself and recognize that I can use a variety of different ways to cope with stress. Most of the time, like every day, I need to exercise. And then what that will do is take away a fair amount of the stress I'm feeling so that then I can be more moderate, perhaps, if I want to log on and play an hour or two of Destiny, if I want to watch one or two episodes of a show. But if I've done that exercise, or I've engaged in pretty good eating throughout the day, or I've talked to a friend that day, those little pieces, that counts. Every little thing that you do for yourself that's kind and health promotive, that counts too, just like every cigarette counts. And I give myself credit for that. But what I have found in my, many years on the planet is that when I do what I consider to be healthy coping approaches that work for me, then later on, if I want to then do some that I might have in the past felt more judgmental about, I don't need as much. The dose can be lower, and so that I can live a more well-rounded life. We offer, like on the Neolth platform, as you know, and also in my classes and in my work at the Center for Mind Body Medicine, we teach a whole lot of things: exercise, meditation, art, journaling, guided imagery, a whole wide variety of things. And the reason for that is different things appeal to different people. And so if you have a friend who meditates for 45 minutes a day and you're like, oh my God, I could never do that, therefore I can't ever be good at managing stress, that's BS. Because maybe it's better for you to run or walk for half an hour and journal for a half an hour. So it's really a matter of finding what really feels good to you. And when you do things that feel good, then you need less of the stuff that maybe you don't feel so good about.